The NFL is live, and so are we. We'll talk about that tonight after this. On your mark, get set, let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning. Kevin Durant, you should have never left California.
This Brownsexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no! Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Well, we definitely care about football because tonight's the night the NFL returns to the sports stage for real. Not the play stuff, not the preseason stuff, not the training camp stuff. The curtain opens for the 2023 season. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition and installment of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am one half of that duo. No, not the Snowman. I am Cole Johnson. That is of Cole Sports with a Z. And before I start whip around, there's something you need to see.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
That's right. Pay attention. You can see Mentality today and every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central on BSU TV, the Roku TV, and you can also see it on the Real Wize TV YouTube channel or the Comey Media Incorporated YouTube channel. Reason why I play that is because Mentality is about to invade Snowman in the Morning because of the co-host I'm about to bring on right now. And now batting, the man who was upset that a Royals champion can finally strike out Astros, number 420, Wize El Jefe. Number 420.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Royals Chapman striking out Astros. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
About time. I'm good, man. I'm good. We're on a little winning streak. The baby bombers have arrived, so I'm good.
Not the baby bombers. Well, I guess 2024 is looking good-ish.
Yeah. It's looking all right.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Yeah. But I know you're focused more on, you are focused more on Sunday night, of course.
Okay, yes. And all the disrespect that's going around the league. It's not even just Drew, it's everywhere. It's like My Giants got a lot to prove, and they're gonna make a statement Sunday. I got a feeling.
Oh. Well, let's get to the whip around, shall we? Battled ace of the Dodgers, Julio Urias, was placed on administrative leave yesterday by Major League Baseball while it investigates his arrest on felony domestic violence charges this past Sunday night. More than likely, that will end his 2023 campaign. It might end even more things than that. Urias, who did not accompany the Dodgers on their road trip, could be on MLB's administrative leave for at least 2 weeks before the Players Association grants approval for an extension. The restricted list is originally for 1 week or 7 days, and MLB can ask the union for an additional 7 days, which consent shall not be unreasonably withheld. Dave Roberts, at sleep at the wheel, that's so cold of me to say, Dodgers manager, he said he, just like everyone, was shocked that it was unfortunate for everyone involved that a guy who simply is heavy-handed decided to be heavy-handed a second time. Yeah, boy. Oh, I'm so sorry. My bad. And now batting once again, the man who is saying F you to Mr. Disrespectful, number 420, Wize El Jefe. Number 420. Oh, man, I'm sorry, man. You're on mute, bro. Yeah. Yeah, we can't hear you right now, brother. There we go. Now we can hear you.
All right. So I wasn't saying F you to Mr. Disrespectful. I was just talking about the disrespect they're giving my Giants all around. Like, people are really saying some BS, but it's all good because this weekend we'll see. We'll see if the addition of Darren Waller and all the other pieces we had on offense and Bobby Okereke and the two cornerbacks we drafted. So it's going to be interesting, man.
Okay. All right. We'll talk a little bit further and a little bit more about your Giants. And we might touch on we'll touch on their matchup with the Cowboys tomorrow for sure. We might even touch on it a little bit more today. But moving onward. Alcantara, good Lord, I cannot speak today. The reigning NL Cy Young Award winner and the ace of the playoff contending Marlins, unfortunately will go on the 15-day DL with a right forearm flexor strain, and that injury might likely end his season, and that actually will end, in my opinion, will end the Marlins campaign for a playoff push. Now, they announced the injury yesterday, 3 days after Alcantara pitched 8 innings and earned his 7th win of the season with a 6-4 victory over the Nationals. The club also said that slugger Jorge Soler is also going to IL with an oblique strain. Gosh, I feel so bad for them, but I feel so good for all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who is the author of The man who is the author of and who is called Snowman Bron Lover, who is Hater Hall of Fame Trash, the man who, as he says, yes, LeBron, it is you. It has been you. It always is you. It always will be you. Forever and ever. Amen. And the man who decided to channel Gilbert Gottfried and saying, I give to you the founder of Snowman in the Morning and the CEO of Snowman Multimedia, Brian Snow, a.k.a. the Snowman.
Good morning, folks. I was sitting here in my chair and my alarm went off and I missed it. But I'm here. Well. Let's go on.
All right. I'd love to hear that. Defensive end for the Raiders, Chandler Jones he is not with the team after he made several social media posts criticizing the squad. Now, the head coach of the team, Josh McDaniels, told reporters yesterday that Jones was not at the facility and he did not give a reason. He went on to say the following about that, quote, "It is a personal situation, a private matter. We've dealt with it, and I'm not going to talk about it." Oh, Lord. Close quote. Look, McDaniels, if you're going to do your former big-time boss justice in the hoodie, why don't you just say, "We're on to Denver"? That's all you got to say. We're on to Denver. We're not giving you anything. We're on to Denver. Simple. Simple, son. Simple. Goodness gracious.
Say simple and Josh McDaniels in the same sentence.
Well, you got a good point there, son, man. Here's a cute-ish type of story. Duke quarterback Riley Leonard was feeling himself after that 28-7 butt whooping they gave Clemson on the home campus in Durham Monday night. But he learned a valuable lesson Tuesday. Even if you lead your football team to the biggest win in many decades, you still got to do your homework. Now, after the upset the Blue Devils gave the number 9 Clemson Monday night for his first win of the top 10 opponent in 34 years, Duke students and fans rushed the field at Wallace Wade Stadium to celebrate said victory. Leonard played a big part of the win. He went 17 of 33 for 175 yards, and he also, for 8 carries, rushed for 98 yards, which include the go-ahead score in the third quarter. But his professor decided to give him an Instagram reel to say, "No, son, you got to turn in your homework." You got to love professors still calling students, even if you're jocks or athletes, to the carpet and saying you got to do your stuff.
Still got to take care of business. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. One more. Haener, New Orleans Saints rookie quarterback. I know y'all are. I'm going to channel Wize for a second. I know some of you are saying, "Who?" You will probably still be saying, "Who?" after I say the name anyway, and the reason why he's being brought up. But the doofus decided to be suspended for the first 6 games of the 2023 NFL season for violating the league's policy on performance-enhancing substances. The league announced the suspension yesterday, and it did not say what substance Haener was suspended for. Goodness gracious. This should be a crime and a half, that you don't have a brain, that you should not know what to touch as an NFL player. Yet, you still have these instances where people want to be effing morons.
Jake Haener out of Fresno State, a candidate for effing moron of the year.
Goodness gracious.
No?
He's just stupid. No.
Okay.
You know what? Because this is just stuff that is already known. Like, you know that whatever supplements you take, whatever, you need to make sure
that
there's nothing in there that's gonna cause a positive testing, whatever.
Yep.
So,
yep.
These athletes have coaches and trainers there at the facility that they can talk to and discuss what they need. So that's why, to me, he's just stupid. It's just stupid on his part for not doing his proper research. You're a professional now.
You need to know.
You deserve to get suspended for. Matter of fact, no. It should be his teammates should line up and just punch him in the face for some stupid stuff.
And now that Jake Haener has been added to another candidate for a guy who has a beautiful, punchable face, we will end today's whip around.
And of course, it's presented by Fanatics, officially licensed everything. Oh,
all right.
Lord.
A break.
52 punches to the face for every week of the year that he's on the team. Yikes.
Wow, that is brutal. A break. A finance feedback zone visit that we go to, and then when we come back, you see a smile on Snowman's face. That's because probably the best player on his 49ers has just been broken off a good chunk of change.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that when we get back. This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. We're joined by our brother Wize El Jefe, and we'll be back right after this.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
What do you get when you watch or listen to the Life Happens podcast? Well, I'll let them tell you.
Kim and I are both ministers of the gospel, and what Life Happens podcast is a beautiful balance by simply taking our spirituality with real life and merging it together to create a beautiful balance. And that's what we do.
BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens podcast, where Christianity and life intersect. Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Cause we take this job so serious.
Y'all know what? Hey, cool. You know how much I hate this out with a passion.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Even 20 after the hour, along with the man they call Cole Johnson and Wize El Jefe. Snowman is here with you, and Cole will take us to and through the Fanatics feedback zone.
All right, thank you, sir. And the first to join us from No Credentials Required fame, Ryan McCarthy. Good show, by the way, Tuesday night. He says, yes. Good day, Snow Crew. Checking in from Norfolk today. Yes, I'm glad you're enjoying your vacay, sir. A Pizzle of the Four Horsemen of Plums and others as well. Good show last night, sir. He says, good morning. Seriously, Larry. I think he came from
What's up, Larry?
Play with JJ, and he's now become part of the family. Yes, no man, it's me, as he says. And he also goes on to say, student athletes are still students. Correct, yes. Sir. We correct on that.
Correct.
Sig Diggy, all the way from Norway, gives us his vintage greeting of good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and good afternoon to you, Michael Thousand, another new family member of the program. He says, "Good morning. Yes, this would be the best team in New York." Interesting.
You fool.
Interesting. Sig Diggy also goes on to say, Wize El Jefe, nice old beard. You looking sharp. Ryan says, dear athletes, if you don't know, consult your athletic trainer so that you don't get popped for Roy's violations. Sincerely, yes. A guy who knows a thing or two about supplements.
Same.
Thank you, Ryan. Same. Yes. Same. Yes. Oh, and Michael 2000 has a message for you, Wize El Jefe. He says, New York Yankees suck.
I'm staying out of this one.
Listen,
And after last night, so did the Texas Rangers.
Who's his team again? Like, who's Michael's team again?
Shots fired.
I don't even know who his team is. Like,
yeah, who is your team? Who is your team, Larry? I think his team is the Phillies.
No, I'm talking about Michael 3000.
Oh, Michael 3000. I beg your pardon. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Baltimore Orioles.
That's referencing. Okay, well,
he had one good year. And he's please, man. Every dog has
602. Michael. Oh Lord, 6 says good morning to seriously Larry and Michael 3000, the new family members. Seriously Larry says good morning to us all. Michael 3000 says, "Hey, Sick, what up?" And Sick also says good morning and happy house of Norfolk. And what's the brew? Yeah, go ahead and type the brew you're drinking this morning, sir. And
what's the brew this
hopefully
morning?
everything is good.
Well, my brew is a slam. What do I have? Lemon zinger, ginger, green tea, and my emergency. That's my brew this morning.
Oh, all right. Well, we know the brew that Bosa is drinking this morning because the contract negotiations took a little longer than expected. Nick Bosa and the 49ers have reached a deal ahead of their game in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. And they agreed to a 5-year, $170 million contract extension with the $122.5 million guarantee, which that makes the pass rusher the highest paid defensive player in the history of the league. And the person who spoke on the condition of anonymity did so because they aren't authorized to discuss financial terms of the agreement. Now, ESPN was first to report said news. The defensive end, who passes the defensive tackle and down as the top paid defender, had been holding out a while, waiting for an extension to get done. Bosa was ending the final year of his rookie deal, and he was due to make a little bit short of $18 million. So as the 25-year-old gets ready to suit up, and now the team has made a commitment for him to be a part of the squad for at least the next 6 years, I'll shoot this to you, Snowman. How much of a boost is this for the 49ers as they head over to the Rust Belt to play the Steelers Sunday?
Took a little longer than expected. 41 days was the holdout, but we've seen this before a couple of times where key players will get signed before camp. Deebo Samuel being one, of course, the trade for Trent Williams a few years ago. This took a lot longer than expected, a lot longer, because the original hope was to have him in camp right after the preseason, but right up until basically the eve of week one. But you have 2.5 days of practice. You got the reigning defensive player of the year to team up with Javon Hargrave, Javon Kinlaw, of course, Eric Armstead. You basically have fortified that line. Even if Kinlaw doesn't get a start this year, you basically have the entire defense in tow for the entire season. And that's got to feel good for Kyle Shanahan and the bunch going on the road in week one. This is basically, and I'll borrow Larry's comment here, this is a repeat of their 1994 team because they went all in. They snatched Ken Norton Jr., Deion Sanders, and a few others, and they wound up winning their 5th Super Bowl. But on the opposite side of that coin, I don't think it's win now for the 49ers. They're borrowing a page from the Philadelphia Eagles. They have extended their window by signing Bosa to this long-term deal, by signing Javon Hargrave to a 4-year deal. And they still have Javon Kinlaw under contract. They have Eric Armstead under contract. They basically are fortifying their team now, even though it looks like they're in win now mode. But they're also setting themselves up for the future so they don't have a repeat of what happened in 1994, which basically is after the Super Bowl, they lost a lot of free agents over the course of the next 3 years. I don't think it's a win now mode, void years later mode that Larry thinks, but it's a huge deal for the 49ers to get their defense fortified now, especially when they have to travel to Pittsburgh to open the season.
I don't think it's quite a void years later. I get what you're saying, though, Larry.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite a void years later. That definitely was the Rams. That totally was the Rams.
Yeah,
they slid all chips to the center table for 2021. They said, yes, we are going to win this year. We do not care about we don't care about the future, both immediate nor distant. We're going for that ring now.
Therein lies the difference.
A situation we win now and void years later. Yeah.
The
difference is they have a lot of the 49ers do have a lot of players locked under contract that plays well to the future, and they didn't scrap them, like they didn't pull moves like they threw draft picks and guys who were on the come up to teams to get someone like a Hargrave, which that was a great pickup for the 49ers, by the way.
Yeah, that was a
came on its own. That was a free agent pickup.
Yeah, that was a free agent pickup, and the biggest, besides Bosa, the biggest move that they made besides Bosa and Hargrave out of free agency was their trade for Christian McCaffrey. And they've already locked McCaffrey in for the next 2 years. So now with Bosa out of the way, with Deebo Samuel out of the way, you basically have bought at the immediate a 2-year Super Bowl window with the most dynamic running back in the game in Christian McCaffrey. And the biggest piece for the 49ers, McCaffrey is healthy coming into this season.
It's interesting that the next contract I won't say stumble, but the next contract fork in the road will be McCaffrey again. Not necessarily soon, but like you said, the next worry of, okay, should we lock him down or should we just say, you've done your service, it's time for you to move on because we need somebody else in tow. It's funny, that is the next contract again that you'll have to turn themselves with your 49er. Wize, if how can I ask this? If the 49ers can if you okay, I'll put it like this. If you had between which defensive line line you would like, would it be the 49ers or would it be your Giants?
Oh man, I don't know, man, because we don't know what my Giants defense is going to look like this year. Like we have Kayvon Thibodeau in his second year. We have Ogier Ozolari, who's healthy. Hopefully he's healthy. We added
he's on the other side
from Buffalo. We added Isaiah. Sill's going to be playing linebackers, but Sexy Dexy re-signed. So that's a good thing. We got Sexy Dexy back, and he's one of the best defensive tackles in football. See what Leonard Williams does. But no, I think the 49ers on paper have the best defensive line. My line still hasn't proven anything.
Yeah.
So if they come out there and they prove that they want to be the best defensive line, they got something to prove. But 49ers are the best defensive line in football.
And now the biggest thing, they're together.
I just love Dexter Lawrence. Whew,
man.
Yeah. And that's a key for the 49ers. I think it's health.
Yep.
And
that's
the one that's derailed them.
Yeah.
Didn't advance.
Since 2019, they've been derailed. Or 2020, they've been derailed by health because the COVID season, they basically lost half their team to health issues, including Nick Bosa, including Jimmy Garoppolo, including at the time Raheem Mostert. Now you have a healthy 49er team, and they're all locked in. They're locked in for at least the next 2 to 3 years, and that window is going to be extended. Speaking of windows, there is a fellow in New England who is the Patriots historian. And since we're previewing football and football kicks off tonight, let's welcome the fourth member of the panel this morning, Mr. Bob Hildberg, Patriots historian. Where'd he go? Hey, there he is. There's Bob. That's Bob Hildberg. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing great. How's everybody here?
Why are you shaking your head at me, Cole?
Doing good.
Cole's shaking his head at me.
You know
again.
why. Morning, Bob.
All right.
I'm gonna get yelled at. Bob, how are you on the Patriots weekend? How are you, man?
Getting real excited to get blown out by the Eagles. You know. Huge Patriots.
Wow,
fan.
that's a lot of faith you're showing your Patriots. but look, I understand. I'm a Texans fan.
Yes.
The Texans head to Baltimore, M&T Bank Stadium. The Texans will get their butts whooped severely. I understand, bro. I understand.
Bob, what do you have to look forward to this year with the New England Patriots?
Yeah, I'm looking at some guys in defense to step up. I'm a big Kyle Duggar fan. I think he's going to have a big year. I think Uche and Judon, if they continue, they're some of the better players on the defensive line. And Mac Jones, this is a contract year for him, so he's got to step it up. I'm hearing some good things about him. Bill O'Brien and him are meshing, and they're putting last year behind them, thankfully, because it was a nightmare. So.
Are you surprised that they got?
So you mean to tell me people?
Are you surprised that they cut Bailey Zappi?
So you mean to tell me people? Go ahead.
No, I'm not surprised about Bailey Zappi. I mean, he still needs. He's a young kid. I'm sorry, Cole. What was your question?
No. That's I was going to say about the Patriots fans actually getting behind Mac Jones, although. You had, well, I'm gonna say you, but people had issues with how Jones played last year because he was so maddeningly inconsistent.
Yeah, no, there's no question. He was a little baby, him having these temper tantrums and stuff like that. Maybe he's grown up a little bit. In the beginning, you don't throw it to the other team. The opening day, he throws an interception. So, he's got to play clean. Turnovers is a big thing. If, we got to score 2 defensive touchdowns or a special team touchdown just to even stay in the game with the Eagles this weekend. So,
right.
But I like our running attack. I think our running attack is going to be something. If Ezekiel stays healthy for the whole year, I think that's a powerhouse because Stevenson can catch the ball out of the backfield. And let's hope Henry and Gesicki make some plays as tight ends because they were kind of silent last year, and we're crossing our fingers that Juju turns into something this year.
Yeah. You are muted, sir.
I pressed the wrong button. 4:25 is the kickoff time from Gillette Stadium. CBS will have the call. It's one of the feature games. Ezekiel Elliott, Juju Smith-Schuster. How will they help this offense?
Yeah, well, they bring some experience. They bring some leadership to the team. Ezekiel is really fit into the locker room. A lot of people love his leadership. He jumped right in, and he's shown some energy. And Stevenson, it's a big year for him too for a contract. So if Ezekiel gets 5 or 6 or 7 rushing touchdowns from the 1-yard line, I don't think Stevenson's going to be too happy. If that's all Ezekiel's going to come in and just do 1-yard 4th down and 1-yard touchdown runs, be like LeGlaire and Blunt when he had 15 touchdowns and like 12 of them were from 1 yard out.
1 yard out. Mm-hmm. Let's look at the first 4 for the Patriots. They get 2 at home. They host the Eagles, and then they host the Dolphins, and then they go to the Jets, and then they go to the Cowboys. Besides the Eagles, of those first 4, which one frightens you the most, Bob?
I don't know what's going to happen with the Jets. Everyone's saying the Jets are Super Bowl contenders. Aaron Rodgers, coming to another team. He's going to be the new Peyton Manning, changing teams and winning the Super Bowl with his new team. we hate the Jets times 1,000 up here. So probably the most discouraging game that I ever saw was the playoff game in 2010, where Wes Welker's talking about Rex Ryan's feet, and Belichick benches him for the first series, and we ended up losing that game. And I'm in the press room from all these guys from Philly and New Jersey and New York, and we ended up losing that game. And it's, Brady's the MVP. How do we lose to the Jets? So that's going to be a big game. I'm a little scared about that one.
What about that game scares you the most?
Lost to team quarterback by Mark Sanchez is what I find crazy.
Oh, yeah, boy. Right.
Oh boy,
how does Sanchez beat us?
Oh boy. What scares you about the Jets the most going into that one as we look at the first quarter of the season for the Patriots?
Well, that's what I'm scared of with the Eagles, is their defensive line and their overall defense. And the Jets have a tremendous defense too. I mean, I think our defense is going to hold us into some games. And I mean, Jack Jones is probably going to pick off Aaron Rodgers again and take it for a touchdown now that he's been cleared for these gun charges. So he's in Aaron Rodgers' head already because he did a pick six last year. So, but I'm a defensive guy. Defense wins games. And I think the Jets defense and the Eagles defense are the two of the better defenses we're going to face this year.
Then on December the 18th, as we look further down the road, you get the world champion Kansas City Chiefs in your house. And we all know what Patrick Mahomes can do. And I know I'm looking way, way, way down the line here, but taking a look at that game, how do you keep up? So you see both Super Bowl contenders this year. You lead off with the Eagles, and later on you get the Chiefs. How do you keep up with the Chiefs?
We got to slow them down. I mean, that's one of the things that I think Belichick is trying to do, is to get a lot more defensive backs and a lot more speed. And this, hopefully this Christian Gonzalez turns into something. But the whole idea with any of these quarterbacks, we're going to run into some of the better quarterbacks in the league the whole year. And we got to have the defense contain them, and we got to have these defensive backs. I mean, last year we had a lot of defensive touchdowns. We got to repeat that in order for us to win 9 or 10 games, get 8 or 9 touchdowns, because we got to stay in the game.
Bob Hildberg joining us here on the program for a brief Patriots preview, taking the game that you lost against Cincinnati, where you had a chance to knock the Bengals off of one of the top 2 seeds. You nearly came back and won that game. What do you take from that game and bring into this particular season?
Yeah, they're really going to feed off some of the plays that they made last year. I mean, the whole idea is that if we can stay in some of these games, it's going to give us confidence going out throughout the rest of the year. And with Judon and some of the guys on defense, I mean, Hightower was a quiet guy, but who's the linebacker core that's going to step up and really lead the team? Devin McCourty's lost. So, I mean, we need someone really to pick up the pace on defense, whether it's some of the safeties that we have, Duggar and Phillips, et cetera, or Dietrich Wise, who's pretty much a quiet captain. Some of these guys got to make some plays this year. And if we stay in the game, if we run the ball, I think we're going to run the ball just like we did last year, just to maintain the clock and hopefully not fumble and double lateral, and give it to the other team in the last play of the game. Hopefully they learned from that lesson last year. So
we'll see how it goes. Bob Hildberg, Patriots historian, joining us for a Patriots preview. And good luck to you, Patriots, this year, my friend. Thanks for coming on. Love to have you on as throughout the season. Thank you very much.
You got it. Let's hope they stay competitive, but I see Philly winning by at least 10 today.
Thank you, Bob.
Tom Brady Day, yeah.
Bob Hildberg joining us. Whoops. Hey, Bob Hildberg joining us. I'm gonna get yelled at. Why are you looking at me like you want to throw darts at me, sir?
And this concludes
I deserve that. I deserve every piece of that.
Oh, Lord. When we come back,
Cooper Kupp is gone for the year.
That is what my partner wishes. but he's not going to be gone for that long.
No, he's not. He's not.
We'll be back at 2-2. This is Snowman in the Morning. We're joined by Wize El Jefe. We'll be back right after this. Goodness gracious.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Thursday nights are wrestling night on CSTV. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to see all the amazing Next Level Pro Wrestling stars on Thursday Night Throwdown on CSTVNow.com and the CSTV app on your Roku device.
PK Tire Pros, your one-stop on-the-spot auto service headquarters for a complete line of quality tires and auto services. For years, we have provided the Stockton, California area with the latest products and unprecedented services for everything we sell. And for years, our customers have been coming back. Take a look around. If you don't find what you need, visit us in Stockton, California. From the latest and best in tire technology to the services required to keep your vehicle looking good and running great, PK Tire Pros can get you out on the road quickly and at an affordable price. Stop by soon and see why so many people consider PK Tire Pros to be the one-stop shop for all of their tire needs. At PK Tire Pros, our friendly and knowledgeable staff, quick and dependable service professionals, and affordable prices all come together to make driving out on a new set of tires easy. On top of that, we never tire of tires. Stop by and see us, and you'll be glad you did.
We take this job so serious.
I know this is going to come back to haunt me, but I take Carson Wentz over Zach Wilson.
Oh, no. And Dante walks off.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Yes, it's Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
44 hours.
I actually
for the big one. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I actually have to say that I have to give you mad props, sir, for your brilliance. For you to pull out that nugget of cool actually wanting Carson Wentz over another NFL quarterback. Kudos to you, sir. But
low-hanging fruit, for God's
that was
sake.
extremely low-hanging fruit.
I mean, it's Zach Wilson.
Oh, you get no arguments out of me on that. But if you want to see that type of energy, you will be seeing it starting at the top of this hour because the Coach Dante, Cool McCain of the Cool and Coach Hour, they will join us for hour number 2 of this episode, and it's going to be great to see those brothers return.
They are, and the intro you did for them was just plain awesome. I'll just leave that there.
Thank you.
But,
I'll prepare.
We would put Zach Wilson and Carson Wentz in the same sentence, and cool.
I never did think that was going to be the case either. And now that you mentioned intros, I got to prepare for Wize to be salty for toward me yet again.
What, man? I appreciate my intro. I just wanted a visual with it. That's all I wanted. Which I got.
Oh my! So it looks like,
good Lord.
So it looks like Cooper Kupp is not going to be seeing the field this Sunday against the Seahawks. It looks like his injury that he suffered in the preseason has lingered further. Your thoughts, 49ers fan first.
Okay. I know Playmaker's going to hate me for this, but this only applies to week 1 and week 1 only. Can I get the praise dance, please?
You are so brutal. You are so brutal. Goodness gracious. How are you going to be happy over a man's injury?
It's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to happen.
And then there's
See Larry back. It's seriously Larry backdoors with you with his comment. What? A key ram injured? Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, because
But in
Matt
all
Stafford
seriousness,
yeah, go ahead.
I hope Cooper Kupp is only gone a few weeks and not the entire season, because he is the key to that Ram offense. And I've liked Cooper Kupp since his days at Eastern Washington. So I don't want to see him out for longer than necessary.
Unfortunately, and I don't either. Unfortunately, this almost strikes of a type of injury that would linger.
Yeah.
You would think, okay, so he tweaked something, or you'd be led to assume he tweaked something. All right, so he sits out a couple of games and he'll come back. Well, he sat out all the preseason. Now he's going to sit out week 1 Sunday. And I know the team is taking the stance of, well, if this was like a playoff game, he will probably try to go. But since this is not, and we're opening the season, we're going to take precautions and hold him back. I mean, that's the language they're using.
Yeah. Yes.
Kupp has some miles on him, you know?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Remember, he played full 4 years at Eastern Washington. And what a lot of people don't realize, that contributes to the miles that a receiver puts on him. And with him playing a key position for the Rams, what's the one thing receivers use most often? Their legs.
Oh, their legs. Oh, yeah. Whether it's jumping, cutting, or extending. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And I don't want this injury to linger. I mean, I want to see the Rams at full speed and at full health. But when you lose a receiver the caliber of Cooper Kupp, and saying that A, that injury is going to linger for a while, and B, he'll begin the season on the physically unable to perform list, that's a problem.
Yeah, it is. It is a problem. Wise your thoughts, sir?
Rams, they've fallen off from
right. Yeah,
falling off. Like I don't wish injury on anyone. It sucks because I do like Cooper Kupp. He's been a great player since he's been in, but it's part of the game, man.
Why are you laughing so hysterically?
No. Wise's point is correct. All I'm thinking of was a moment of mentality where he said, first of all, I wouldn't wish death upon anybody. That's it. I would wish death on anybody. But I'd make an exception with Dave Portnoy's FDBA. F Dave Portnoy.
I remember that. And that New York accent came all the way through with it. First of all, and I gotta throw Wise some flowers here. When Wise warms up with first of all, and you hear that New York accent come all the way out, You know he's about to go nuts. So you just sit back and watch the fun and watch Wize go completely off.
So that's why I was laughing when he says he doesn't wish injury upon anybody. I know Wize doesn't wish injury upon anybody, but I always flash back to that moment in mentality. That's one of my favorite moments.
He's a special case. He's just a special case. It's like he just again. We're going back to that punchable face. He definitely has one. He's very douchey.
Oh,
like
my goodness.
There's something very douchey about Dave Portnoy.
That's another prize moment too. Yeah, Joey Santos. He just has a beautiful punchable face. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, oh, he's saying that.
Wait a minute. Wize just gave me the word of the day.
What, punchable?
No.
Oh.
He said there's something douchey about him.
Yeah. Douchey.
From now on, whenever Wize is here, we'll hear something and we'll have the word of the day. And I got tears in my eyes from laughing. We have our word of the day, douchey.
And how you have been the last 2 minutes, that is how I am when I edit every single episode of Mentality like that.
I totally get it. I get it. See, Wize and I have been like this since we met. All right. Like I said, the first interview Wize and I ever did, Wize says, so how long are we going to be? About 15 minutes. Yeah, right. 90 minutes later, we're still talking and laughing.
But you know what? It's because our shows aren't scripted. So
right.
And I love it. I love it. I love the aren't scripted.
Yeah.
See,
we just come in
with mentality. With mentality, all I know is that Cole presents an outline, and there's one point in that outline where Wize goes completely ham. I know this. I know this. That's why I love running the show on my network. That's why I love running the show on my radio network. Also,
like I told you, it's just Cole sets me up, man. He just throws a fastball right down the plate. That's what he does.
And Wize hits it out of Safeco Field.
Yes, he does.
He hits it to the back row under the roof at Safeco Field.
Oh Lord! And Victor says,
and Victor backdoors it with that.
he's not wrong. David Portnoy does influence hands to fly at him.
He does.
Speaking of influence, I'm going to tell a funny story that happened this past weekend in Chicago. Victor knows what happened. No. Wrong field.
I know.
We get the program for the Chicago Football Classic. You skim through the program, you see a ton of ads, like 32 pages worth of ads. There are two sections in there, one for Central State and one for Mississippi Valley State. And my young mentee, Jermail Dabney, is thumbing through, and we're thumbing through, and all of a sudden, a very important question pops up of, where is Central State's roster? And that
really, they didn't provide you with a roster?
As sure as I'm bald.
Wow.
Mississippi Valley State's roster is in there with no problem. Okay? We are flying through looking for Central State's roster. Nothing. And it turned into one of the best jokes of the day, and we kept saying it, and we just looked at each other, and Jody looked at us, and she just had this look on her face. You know when your wife sees you about to say something that's going to stick for a while?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we just looked at each other and we said, we got everything we need. We got all the equipment. And Jermail just looks at me and I look at him and he goes, there's just one little question. What's that? Where's the bleeping roster?
Wow.
For about 20 minutes, we just kept looking at each other whispering, where's the bleeping roster? Jody is dying. Okay.
So
and it
Central
got so bad. We looked at the coaching staff in the book. Why are there no bios? Why are there directions to click here?
No roster, no coaching bios.
None.
Wow, okay.
Were it not for the fact that I had the rosters and the 2 deep emailed to me, and I was able to shoot it on to my cohorts, even my buddy James McCallum, who's one of my coordinating producers for the afternoon, he made the joke of, I was going to find last year's Central State roster and send it to you. I said, I probably would have ran with it. He would have.
Last year.
He would have.
Oh, Lord. Oh, seriously, Larry says Mississippi, 78% illiteracy rate. But the thing is, Central State is not located in Mississippi.
Central State is in Ohio.
In Ohio.
And I've covered Central State.
Right.
And I plan hopefully to have Kevin Porter, their coach, on my show soon. But we just kept looking and going, where's the bleeping roster? I looked at Victor and he looked at me, and Jermail is thumbing through. He's like, there are 4 pages of Central State stuff, not one roster. I mean, there's the page for the athletic director. There's a page for the SID. There's the coaches page. There's the photo of the team.
All right.
Where's the bleeping roster?
So did you get the bleeping roster?
I had it emailed to me.
He had it emailed to him.
I had it emailed to me, and I was able to send it to Victor and to Jermail. So we were able to have the roster. I had my tablet with me. Thank the Lord for that. I had Mississippi Valley State's on my tablet. I had Central State's on my laptop. The guys use their phones for the roster, and we asked these people, can you print us a roster of Central State? Do I have to tell you the answer to that question?
Oh no! You don't have to tell me to answer that question, because the answer to that question was.
Do I have to tell you the rest of that?
No, they take massive, absolute, humongous.
All right, programming note tomorrow. Mike Debate will join us, and we're going to do our picks. And the picks will be presented by BetUS.com. And I cannot wait for us to do another season of picks. Hour 2 with the Cool Coach Hour right after this.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
If you talk and they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So don't let here. You can do it if you try.
He was only 58 years old when he passed away. That outcome could have been different.
Colorado happens to be one of the worst states for radon levels.
It's in our ground and it seeps up.
The more you breathe radon, the more chance you have of DNA being hit and the cell mutated. The EPA estimates 22,000 lung cancer deaths a year caused by radon.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun.
Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Time for hour 2 of the
Papi J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying, but this is also an option.
Wize El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen Xers, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Papi J and Wize El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
It is indeed hour 2 of Snowman in the morning. 11:05 is your official time with Wize El Jefe and that man they call Cole Sports, Cole Johnson. And look at Larry's comment. Look at Larry's comment. You see it?
Tackled by Mr. Number 78.
The years of covering the Chicago Public League. I don't even have to tell you the rest of that story. 14 years. I have said more. I'm not taking us off the rails. Let's bring in the gentleman.
All right.
The Cool Coach Hour is here with Cool McCain and Coach Dante. Dante, I never thought the name Carson Wentz would make you walk off the set.
Cool set me up. Cool McCain set me up. Cool set me
my
up.
fault. That's my fault.
He set me up that day.
And the bad part is Cool said it with a borderline straight face when he looked in the camera and said, quote, I know this is going to come back to bite me. And then he said what he said.
Well, that was the first time I ever heard him say such thing. So had I heard this comment previously, he would have heard from me a long time ago. But this is the first time I saw that clip. And
that's fair.
And I honestly cannot believe those words came out of his mouth.
I can't either.
Look,
and
when I was
this is our Eagle aficionado. All right.
when I was editing some more, so we take this job so serious bits.
Yes.
I was focusing on Coach Dante, so I got that.
Yep.
And then I mistakenly went further down and I saw that beautiful gym that Cool set up.
He said mistakenly went further down. That wasn't a mistake.
I heard that beautiful gym. I said, oh yes, I got a second one.
Like today was the first time I heard it. I didn't know Cool had said such.
He did.
Hey man, it was
things. Like I didn't know.
He said vile.
It was Wentz and Zach Wilson, bro. I mean, I hate to say it. Literally, I hate, but I said the truth.
Wow.
You did.
Wait. Why vile though?
Bro, as much as he said some real horrible things about Carson Wentz, man. Cool has not been nice to Carson Wentz.
Never.
For him to actually say that he would take him over Zach
Wilson.
Oh my!
That should tell you how bad Zach Wilson is.
Yeah.
Because Cool has never said one complimentary thing about Carson Wentz since the time I have known him.
At all.
I did say that he almost won the MVP the year he got hurt. I did say that. But outside of that,
the only kind thing you've said
about which is true. He did almost win the MVP in 2017. You're correct.
An injury took care of that.
Right.
But that's the only kind thing you've said about Carson Wentz in the time that I've come to know you.
Now you said two things. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hope it never gets to 3. I don't want it to ever get to 3.
I don't want it to get to 3 either. It's the fact that I'm still laughing at the fact that you put Carson Wentz and Zach Wilson in the same sentence to the point where I lose my mind laughing. Dante gets up and says, F this, and walks off.
Cool actually set me up because he actually had me defending Davis Mills.
Yes. Which Houstonians do not like him at all. They do not like Davis Mills at all.
No. It was Snowman. It won't me. It was Snowman. Snowman did that. It won't me.
I said nothing. Well, all right. I'll take the blame for it because I did
mention a testament on how bad Zach Wilson really is as a quarterback. Actually.
And you know what? I set the whole thing up with the question of which quarterback would you take over Zach Wilson. I set the whole hour up.
That's what I'm saying. We were.
Oh my gosh.
We even took breaks in that initial episode. We even took breaks. We took our scheduled breaks, and we were still going after that.
So. I would. Let's see. I would take Sam Darnold. I would take. Yeah, I figured it went. That line for a whole hour.
It went down. It went so far down the rabbit hole, dude.
I know one name that wasn't said right.
Kyler Murray.
Sam Howell.
Anthony Richardson.
Oh.
The Colts. I'm sorry. Let me do this correctly. Quote: The Colts drafted Anthony Richardson. Freaking Richardson. Close quote.
And Cole set me up by saying, I know when you saw that pick, when I saw that pick, I know old Snowman was going to flip his lid. And I went to my wife. I said, Jody, this is who the Colts picked. Her next question sent me into a fit of giggles, and I'm going to have to end my cuss streak because she said, quote, who the hell is that?
Close quote. I would have thought she actually said something to the effect of.
What was that?
I would have thought she would have said. I would have thought she would have said, "Who the?"
Yeah, that.
That was next. That was next. Wait a minute. That was next when she got to work.
She asked it again.
Yeah.
12 hours later. Wow.
Yes. Thank you, Bob Hildberg, for coming on. As I mentioned, Mike White will come on tomorrow. We're going to do some picks tomorrow. But yeah, she got to work that morning and she remembered that I covered the draft. And that was her next question. Who the bleep is It's Anthony
Richardson.
Can I say one thing, y'all, real quick?
Yeah.
Sir.
What's up, Nicola?
Oh, Lord. We do appreciate you.
Wasn't
I
me
swear
this
that
time,
looks
Jake.
like the old Viking script, doesn't it? The old Minnesota Vikings script, end zone
No.
script.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Cole. That is amazing. I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you, man.
Somebody
Well-
recognized Victor as Vicala.
That was
Somebody at
priceless.
his job recognized him as Vicala.
Oh yeah, we work together every day. On site.
Not on site.
On site. But he
Off
could be in the
site.
middle of a phone call. I'd be like, Nicola! How's it going today, sir?
Not butt it up, but be professional.
Yes, sir.
Professional
my
in my eye. Now with that, but when Victor
my
told me the story of how someone recognized him, and then he told the entire crew the story when we were up at Soldier Field. We were all just laughing before we went on air.
So are you Vicala?
Yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
When you're recognized, you're recognized.
All right.
All
All
right,
right, gentlemen. So there was a football game that took place in Fort Worth.
Yep.
The Colorado Buffaloes, they beat the TCU Horned Frogs 45-42.
Yep.
In what has been termed as a monumental upset because Colorado was an underdog by 20 points. However, the talk isn't about Travis Henry playing both ways or Shedeur Sanders throwing for over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns with no picks.
No.
Or 4 Colorado receivers going for over 100 yards in receptions, session yards. No, it's Deion Sanders. Is he good or bad for college football? Now, I have to scratch my doggone head.
Same.
How is this a question? How on earth is this a question? Considering
he broke the mold, because he broke
Yeah.
the mold.
Apparently, apparently the people that are saying such things have not seen Deion Sanders when he was 18 years old at Florida State University inside of Doak Campbell Stadium. He broke the mold then, and he broke it Saturday.
I was about to say he was the same way then as he is now. The only difference is, like you said, instead of him being 56 now, he was 18.
He was 18.
That's the only difference.
He's wise. Listen, he's wiser. He's much more experienced, but he's still that arrogant, cocky son of a gun that knows who he is
and backs
I love
up
that about
everything
him.
that he
I
and
love
backs up
that
everything
about
that he
him.
does.
I
And
love
you know
every
what?
single thing about
I don't
him.
even.
Yes.
You know what? And now that I look at it from my, it's not even that he's arrogant, man. He's
he's arrogant at all.
authentic. He's self-aware. He knows what he is capable of. Listen, he's one of the dudes that I watch. I love watching his clips because just his
I do too.
words are inspiring and motivating, and the way he articulates stuff, it resonates with me. I'm saying everything he says even when he had that segment with Warren Sapp as well. It's like him and Warren Sapp are building something there that's going to be phenomenal because
I forgot
they
Warren's
know
one of the
what it
coaches
is. They know what hard work is.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to outwork any of the teams.
One of the things that resonates with me about Deion Sanders is the way he embraced Devin Hester when Devin Hester broke his record. While Hester was a member of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
And one of the he embraced him. He kept saying congratulations, but I will never forget Deion kept telling Devin, take care of your children. Make sure your children see this.
Mm-hmm.
That resonated with me.
And apparently this has been how Deion has been
Yes.
All throughout his adult life, all throughout when he was playing the NFL, and all throughout when he was on the NFL Network and Fox and Fox Network when he was an analyst, because he would coach Pee Wee and youth league football, and he would pour into children exact same ways like he did to Devin Hester once he passed Deion Sanders on the all-time punt and kickoff return touchdown list.
Yep.
And
what's the problem?
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
pretty
you got a man who's willing to speak to 18 to 21-year-olds and treat them like men. And the issue is,
I don't find an issue.
All right, cool. Help me out, bro.
So the issue with the others, right, is that he uses urban vernacular, right? Because that's what I'm saying is, it's not us, it's the others. The urban vernacular is the problem.
He said the others. The issue with the others.
African American swag. The use of
in the immortal words of Jack Buck, pardon me while I stand up and applaud. Now, will you please give Cool the praise dance after that comment, please?
Oh my
Give him the
gosh, that was
dance.
hilarious. That was hilarious.
It's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to happen.
Sorry, I did that all wrong. My bad. I did it all wrong. The preceding mic drop was sponsored by
And then of course there's the how dare he bring the HBCU swag to a prestigious university in Colorado.
Yeah, how dare he?
Yeah, how dare he shake up the program and get rid of a bunch of kids and coaches from a team that won one game?
Yeah.
How dare he demand excellence from his kids? How dare he bring in
Yeah.
athletes? How dare he use his star power to improve the university's football program? The nerve of him.
Yeah, the audacity of him to have 86 players that didn't play on Colorado last year to play on the squad this year. I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? You set up these programs with the pressure of win now, and you want Deion to basically say, okay, well, I will coddle the former regime's recruits. I'll coddle them. I'll pat them on the butt. I say, you know what? I didn't recruit you, but you're playing on my team now. You're fine until you graduate. Get out of here.
Right.
Before I go to break, Dante, your thoughts, bro.
Well, I will close my ears if y'all want to hear my thoughts on this, because when I'm about to say, and Cool know when I say something that is going, First of all, we've seen the Deion Sanders effect because we've seen the Deion Sanders effect Saturday, because you know what happened. You know what happened on Saturday. These guys were 20-point underdogs. While they were winning the game, Jackson State was getting their ass kicked, 28-10 by Florida A&M. So that gives you a lot of speculation about how good Deion Sanders did that program. A huge drop off. Then it's only about 2 players that's on that team, 1 in 11 team. One of them caught the big time interception at the beginning of the first drive of the TCU Horned Frogs drive at the goal line. So one of them that's stayed up on the team was a linebacker Woods that caught that interception. These guys were 20-point underdogs coming in. So you got a problem with Deion Sanders, Deion Sanders saying, hey, I'm coming. You got a problem with Deion Sanders saying, hey, you might well just go and hit the transfer portal right now because some of you guys ain't gonna be here. It's a problem with him getting a 1 in 11 team up out of the locker room, the losing habits up out of the locker room. That's a problem. It's a problem with him bringing in his own players and recruiting his own players. That's a problem. And so I'm going to get mad at him reacting the way he did? Hell no, because he's bringing a culture into that locker room. He's getting all the losing habits up out of there. And you were 1 in the goddamn 11. So what gives you a damn audacity to think Deion Sanders was going to come in and take this down, not have some of these players on this team? What gives them a right to even talk? And you were 1 in 11. So I'm glad what Deion Sanders did. I'm glad he said, I'm getting some of these losing habits up in here. I'm bringing 86 of my players that I want to coach, that wants to be a part of this team, that wants to be a part of the winning culture. I'm bringing all of these guys up in here. And that's what he did. And you saw the effect Saturday. Last week, you're hearing a lot of excuses about TCU. Some of their players were gone. No, that not all of those players were gone. You got JoJo Early out of the transfer portal. You had a 5-star recruit that came from Alabama, Trey Sanders, that scored the 2 touchdowns. You had Saden Williams still there. He was there as on that championship winning team, or not the championship winning team, but he was there in the national title game. So again, I'm very good with Deion Sanders saying. Now all of a sudden, Matt Rule want to come out and praise him after he said what he said about Deion Sanders. Now you want to come out and praise the man after he won 45-42. But other than that, I think it's going to be a rude. He's going to get his rude awakening on Saturday. I believe that. But other than that, I'm excited, and I love every bit of the chop back that Deion Sanders coming from, because again, this team was 1 in 11, and if you're going to change, if you're going to bring your coaching staff, you're going to change the culture all the way goddamn through. Don't halfway do it. And that's something that Deion Sanders did. You change it all the way. If you're going to make change, you change it all the way. And that's his team. And that program giving Deion Sanders whatever he wants. If they got to kiss him on the feet, they're going to do that. And he's making a mint of it. He's making a mint of it right now. So I'm not mad at what Deion Sanders is doing. And I'm happy that they won that game last week. I'm happy that they won that game. I'm so excited for Deion Sanders. It just started to show you the trend that Jackson State now fits to go in after Deion Sanders left. It's just showing us Deion Sanders effect. So I love every bit of what Deion Sanders is doing to this team. Get all the losers up out of there. 86 new guys. Their first game playing. Travis Hunter look like he's going to be a stud. Regardless of the position he's going to play, whether it's receiver or cornerback. And cornerback, he looks very dangerous at that spot.
I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, this rant was brought to you by the man, the myth, the legend,
Coach
the
Dante.
library.
Oh my gosh, that mic is still smoking. Goodness gracious!
And kiss the nub. That nub on the kiss the nub.
Yep.
And also, do not forget everybody that talked all this smack on their little podcast, on these radio stations, on these TV shows. Coach Prime kept the receipts.
Yep.
Kept all of them. He kept each and every last one of them.
The man didn't want to believe. He telling Deion telling him, do you believe? Oh, no, you still don't believe. You still don't believe. You still don't believe.
After that game, he went in that locker room and he said, a lot of y'all didn't believe before the game. Do you believe now?
You believe now.
But see, and people got to realize some of the things that didn't really come out because these were positive. People want you to know this. When he was at Jackson State, and I'm sure he did the same thing in Colorado, he had someone that was a lady of the evening come in and talk to the players and say, hey, these are the things to look for. This is what you don't want to be involved in. Right? To help them understand as young men outside of being a football player, because everyone won't make it to the NFL, but there are other options that you may make it to. But understand how to be a young man and what to look out for. Coaches don't do this.
No.
But he did. Why? Because they needed to know. And the crazy part about it is he's got a lot of slack for Shiloh and Shador. Shador had a great game. That boy should have had 600 yards plus passing, but dude
Yeah,
was
because of
dropping
two
balls.
drops. Yeah, because of two
Big
drops for
bomb
sure.
drops in their hands. I'm not talking
in their
about
hands.
all
Like
that
right
was
out, like
squeeze.
right out. It wasn't the ball when he was throwing the ball. It wasn't the misses like goddamn Davis Mills will miss a receiver 10 throw a ball 10 feet in the air. It wasn't like that. It was catchable ball every time. That ball on the sideline when Travis Hunter had to dive. Yes, it wasn't a great throw, but it's a perfect. That would be a perfect throw in the NFL to a lot of wide receivers. That would be a perfect throw in the NFL, and I'm pretty much sure Travis Hunter will tell you should have came down with that pass. That was a perfect pass going towards out of bounds, but his feet was going to be in bounds if he made that play. So a lot of them had drops. Man, this man went 38 for 47, and three of those, half of those were drop passes. So he put the ball every time he threw. He put the ball on the money, even. When he was pressured, he stayed calm. Calm and made plays for his wide receivers to get open. So Shador Sanders is going to be a real legit problem. And he was out there. So you would think it was a 7-on-7 football game the way he was putting the ball right on the money. You would think he was like 7-on-7.
I was thoroughly impressed.
And
Thoroughly
Shallow,
impressed.
10 tackles. I thought I heard Shallow's name about 20 times. Deflections. He didn't get an interception, but deflections, good passes, covering receivers, coming up and helping make plays in the run game. So you talk a lot about coaches. Oh, the kids play for them. These kids can play for anybody, right?
Yeah, not just
it doesn't have to be their dad. It just so happens that he's a coach and they get the opportunity to play with him, but they could go play for anybody.
Mm-hmm. And it just so happens their father is absolutely one of the best coaches in college football today.
And see, Cole, that's the other thing why they don't like Deion. That's the other reason. Because they got us over here talking about he's one of the best now. And they don't like that. Those same people, they don't like that.
I know they don't. But are we lying?
Fine. Well, if Snowman were here, what would he say? Find
the lie. I mean, shoot. I mean, you got young men wanting to play for this guy, want to run through brick walls for this guy. Mm-hmm. And along with it, teaching them the X's and O's of how to play football. And I love the point that you brought up because I did see the clip of in Jackson State when he brought a lady of the evening basically to wise those young men up and saying, okay, when you get out in these streets, beware of this. That to me was when I woke up and said, okay, I got to pay attention to how old Prime as a coach is doing because he's dropping game on these guys. I'm like, okay. So this guy is a next level type of coach. All right.
Vicola spitting some facts over there in the comments.
He's spitting huge facts up because I'm looking. He's spitting huge facts up in here. Huge facts because he says, "I said this before in an episode of Cold Sports, which he did. He said Coach Prime is cultivating not just players but leaders because the man is a winner, and he's been a winner in every single level, and every single thing he's done, he's been a winner. So yeah."
He went as far in his press conference and said, not only on the field, but off the field. He's serious about off the field and in the classrooms. It will be yes, sir, no, sir, no, ma'am, no, sir. Open up the door for ladies and stuff, being gentlemen, just off the field stuff as a person. That's the type of culture he's bringing in and the respect that he got. And that's also being disciplined too. Putting the discipline in these guys as well. So other than that, man, I'm happy. I'm happy about what Deion Sanders is doing. And like I say, man, Deion Sanders is setting the mode right now of the game right now. And a lot of coaches and a lot of people do not like it. And again, he's pulling all these 5-star recruits from teams from Alabama. You immediately when he first became the coach of CU, look how many students on Twitter saying, "Can I come play for you?" Within the last 24 hours, oh, can I come? Is a spot for me? The coaching team. He's pulling guys from Alabama and the Georgias of the world. They want kids and want to come play for this guy, man. So I absolutely love it.
And you know they don't like that either.
Oh, I'm about to say that they definitely don't like that. He's pulling 5-star recruits from Georgia and Bama and Michigan and Ohio. Oh, no, they ain't liking that at all. They ain't liking that at all. And yeah, I think what we're starting to see is an updated version of what John Wooden did back at UCLA, where he would teach life lessons to the sport in which he was the coach of. and so that he would actually teach well-rounded men to get out of his program, and they may not be in the NFL. Some will, most won't, but all of them would be well-prepared gentlemen because they had that type of understanding of what it is to be a literal man being taught to them by a man. And if people are going to hate on that, they need to kick rocks. So if I see more of that, I'm going to be even more of a Deion Sanders fan than I already am now. And I'm a huge fan of him right now and have been for decades.
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right, we will reset the table when we come back from the college game to the pros. Tonight begins the 2023 NFL season. The Lions will take on the Chiefs at Arrowhead. We'll break down the game and talk some other stuff too when we get back. You're in the midst and in the middle of the Cool and Coach Hour with Cole Johnson. This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Be right back.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
I'm in another league. I'm a different breed. I'm everything you can never be. I'm next level. Next level.
Thursday nights are wrestling night on CSTV. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to see all the amazing Next Level Pro Wrestling stars on Thursday Night Throwdown on CSTVNow.com and the CSTV app on your Roku device.
PK Tire Pros, your one-stop on-the-spot auto service headquarters for a complete line of quality tires and auto services. For years, we have provided the Stockton, California area with the latest products and unprecedented services for everything we sell. And for years, our customers have been coming back. Take a look around. If you don't find what you need, visit us in Stockton, California. From the latest and best in tire technology to the services required to keep your vehicle looking good and running great, PK Tire Pros can get you out on the road quickly and at an affordable price. Stop by soon to see why so many people consider PK Tire Pros to be the one-stop shop for all of their tire needs. At PK Tire Pros, our friendly and knowledgeable staff, quick and dependable service professionals, and affordable prices all come together to make driving out on a new set of tires easy. On top of that, we never tire of tires. Stop by and see us, and you'll be glad you did.
Because we take this job so serious.
The f*** is that? Sorry, pardon me. My apologies.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Back at it on Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am joined by Cool McCain and Coach Dante, and we're inside the Cool and Coach Hour, which is one of my favorite hours of the week. And back to the Fanatic Feedback Zone before we continue onward. Victor, who has just been firing off a whole lot of truth bombs. He says, look, one of the main reasons I've been a Blue Star fan for so long is Prime. Yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. You know, breaking it all down, you know, yeah, you could say he's a Hall of Fame player. He could play two sports. He was a star at Florida State. I mean, he was a really good analyst. I mean, you can go all down the line, and he's a great coach, but the dude is a quality man, and that's where it starts. And to the others, if Deion Sanders looked like a chalk, and he was doing the same thing, I would say the exact same thing about him.
You struck a nerve there, sir.
Well, It's the truth, bro. It's the truth. Now, we've been talking about the college game. Let's switch it over to the pros. Now, the Lions take on the Chiefs tonight to begin the 2023 NFL season. People have been talking about the Chiefs a lot, and we'll talk about them in a few minutes. But let's focus on the Lions a little bit. Now, when the schedule came out in the spring and they saw that the Lions was going to be playing the Chiefs, people were scratching their head and saying, well, why are the Lions playing the Chiefs? I think people forgot that the Lions were the team that was on the come up. They won 8 out of the last 10 last year, and they capped off a year, which unfortunately didn't end in the playoffs for them. They were eliminated on the last day of it, of the regular season. But it ended with them ending Aaron Rodgers' stay in Green Bay with a 2016 victory and a 4-minute drive that basically killed the rest of the game. There's a lot of things that's exciting about the squad. I mean, we can go down the list with things. But for me, I think it starts with the head coach, Dan Campbell. For some reason, this team really takes to him, and I love the energy that he brings. And of course, he's a former player, and so he comes with I can relate to you guys because I've been in the trenches with you guys, both as a coach and when I played as a player. All right, Coach Dante, I'll start with you. How important do you think it is, especially with the Lions? Because it looks like many of them are young and they need to be brought up and coached up. How important do you think it is for a team to have a player who has experienced all of the things they did as a coach, as a player, but your coach is reflecting that upon the team?
I mean, it's a big deal, man. He just shows how much he mean for this team, how much he care about the players. I think, Dan Campbell, more of a player's coach, more of a player's motivated. That's what a lot of that come in at, and the players respect them. And when the players respect you, that can take it a long way and take the relationship towards the players a long way. Also, you got another player that's played in the NFL too on the coaching staff, and Aaron Glenn, who played for the Houston Texans. He's correct. Later, so you got players that played on that field, that knows the game, that coached the game, that's been out there and that done that. They give their blood, sweat, and tears, and you pretty much sure they got it in the head of the players and stuff like that. I mean, you had Dan Campbell so emotional last year because he cared about those players, and those players get emotional just like him, of wanting to win and wanting to give back. And like I said, that means a lot. That gets it to the players, and those players out there want to play hard for them. So for them to have a 9-8 season, for it to be ended last year because of Seattle was the last team to get in the playoffs over them, but that's still a great season. Don't you know how many years they haven't beat Green Bay in Lambeau in a long time? For them to go ahead and dominate that game and do that, but mostly on Quay Walker ignorance for what he did is unacceptable. But other than that, this team is on a come up. Jared Goff had a rejuvenated year, and also these players got a chip on their shoulder. Jared Goff was just booted out of St. Louis, out of Los Angeles, because he didn't win a championship. They saying, no, you the reason why we didn't win. But fortunately, they ended up in the Super Bowl with him, with Matthew Stafford, ended up in the Super Bowl, but a chip on his shoulder. He had a great 2 years with the Lions. He rejuvenated his career with the Detroit Lions, and they drafted well with Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell. They improved their secondary with Cam Sutton, Gardner Johnson, and all of those guys. Defensive line, Aiden Hutchinson. So you got guys on the team that has chip on their shoulders and all of that, and that chopped in to having a players coach, like Dan Campbell. And think about the other. It gives me another thought on another players coach that players respected. You remember that guy, Rich Bisaccia, that coached it for the Las Vegas Raiders? And after he left the locker room, and the players respect him, this guy wrote a note to every player on the team. And you don't get coaches that write notes for every player, all of them 53 man, all them 53 guys wrote a note and let them know how much he cared about them. What has that gotten the Raiders since he left that locker room? Not no damn well. But other than that, that just shows you how relationships is and how, you know, building relationships with your guys and being a player's coach mean. And that's what Dan Campbell means to the Detroit Lions. And a lot of these guys got a chip on their shoulder as well and trying to prove something, trying to prove it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Good points. Great points. Wonderful points, actually. And obviously the players have taken after Campbell. They respect him. And a good point about Aaron Glenn, another players coach. And he was a wonderful player himself, and wonderful secondary guy. So you have that energy matched with the players. Cool. All right, talk to me about the impact that Jared Goff has had on offense, who he's had some NFL experience, but conversely on defense, their draft pick from last year, Aiden Hutchinson, and how much of an impact he's made onto the team, especially when they went down the stretch last year.
I think the first thing I want to say is definitely shout out Jared Goff, right? Jared Goff was a guy, as Coach Dante said, was a cast-off. But he walked into this locker room day one and said, I'm going to be a leader here. You know what I'm saying? If I'm here for a year, if I'm here for 5 years, I'm going to leave a mark somewhere. I'm not going to be the guy that never won a Super Bowl and never did anything. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to allow myself to be that guy. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm going to play within the confines of what I have. I'm going to listen to what I'm told. I don't have the pressure of having a coach that's supposed to be so great. It's supposed to make everybody better, but clearly didn't do that with Jared Goff. I don't have that now. I have guys who want me to succeed. I have guys who aren't looking to make me or anyone else the scapegoat when things don't go right, and not looking to dump me after I, get the team close to the Super Bowl. So, confidence. He came in, new lease on life, an opportunity to show who he can be, whether it's here or whether they decide to go with someone else, which I don't see why they would, as great of a fit as he is. He's making a case for himself to go wherever he wants to go, right? And that's what you want to do as a quarterback. When you get a second chance, you want to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Oh, no question.
There's a young man that just got traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Pay attention to Jared Goff. You were wronged. I don't care what no 49ers fans say. Trey Lance was wronged. But instead of holding it in, you go out there and take every opportunity you have in Dallas, whether that's as the third string, the emergency quarterback, the backup. You go out there and you continue to improve and get better because you didn't draft yourself. And they knew who you were when they drafted you. So you got the chance to go and make them eat crow soup, just like Jared Goff is making the Rams eat crow soup the way he's playing here in Detroit. And then you talk. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Wize.
And the fact that Detroit, like you said, they want him. They wanted him. Dan Campbell has embraced him as his quarterback, and he's shown them that it was worth the trade. Like they weren't getting nowhere with Matthew Stafford. So you got younger, you got a quarterback that you actually build the system around him, not implement them into your system. You build a system around him, knowing his limitations, knowing what he's good at, and you build it around him, which you would have thought the Rams would have done, being that their coach is an offensive-minded head coach. But Dan Campbell has fit his personnel around him. He's gotten him a running game. Like they traded away Swift to the Eagles because they drafted a running back that they feel is going to be a stud.
And it's going to be cheaper for them in the long run.
Right.
You got St. Brown. Could be one of the top
great wide receiver.
Yep, Marvin Jones, Josh Reynolds. Right.
Yeah. So a lot of people ain't gonna say this, and they must have forgot about this part. Todd Gurley was on a decline that year as well. He didn't play good versus Dallas, and they somehow won that game. He didn't play well in the Super Bowl, but all of a sudden it was Jared Goff's fault. Brandon Cooks dropped a beautiful touchdown pass, but it was Jared Goff's fault. Actually, he tied the game. But it was Jared. They wanted Jared Goff up out of there. But like I said, fortunately, they won the Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford because he was stuck in Detroit so long. So May was the right choice at that time. But other than that, for the long term, Jared Goff led him to a Super Bowl. I mean, he was a part of a quarterback class with Cool's favorite guy, Carson Wentz. Man, he's proven
I was just about to say, hey, Carson Wentz, take notes. Middle 42.
Yep.
Too bad you don't have it.
To be the better quarterback out of everybody, out of the quarterback class. He's proven to right now be the better quarterback off of Carson Wentz. So other than that, man, when you play with a coach that wants you, that has faith in you, when you play with players that got your back, even when you do make mistakes, when you don't make a mistake, even when you make a mistake, it's so important. You know, young quarterbacks, they're going to make mistakes, but teammates picking them up, coaches picking them up, and that's important into a quarterback more than anything. When you can go out there and make a mistake, but it's how you bounce back from it. Or the coaching staff is going to allow you to work through those mistakes. And I think that takes the confidence a long way for Jared Goff, knowing that his teammates got his back, his coaching staff got his back. Dan Campbell got it. If you on Dan Campbell's team, he got your back. He's gonna be down for you. He's gonna put his head on your shoulder. He's gonna cry. He did it in the press conference in front of everybody. A press conference in front of the media, and let them know how much he cares. So that takes it a long way, man. These guys have Jared Goff. They have each other back. This whole team got each other back, and I like the way Jared Goff has been playing, and it's been unappreciated for the last couple of years. The way the man has been playing. The man been playing like a top 12 quarterback, the top 10 quarterback in the league ever since he left, the Los Angeles Rams, because they had no faith in him. And the Detroit Lions traded for him, and they got faith in him, and that just put his confidence on a whole nother level. And they dropped the pieces around him as well. They did a very great job doing that.
Now that the fantasy drafts are done, there's a guy named Jameson Williams who will be coming back. And he's a monster. And he is on my IR. So when he gets back,
in October. Yep. Mm-hmm.
When he gets back, if you in the league with me, it's gonna be trouble.
Oh man. And there is some talk with the Lions that, considering the Vikings are a team that's in flux, but their defense allows more points and their offense can score. The Bears have Justin Fields, but they also have 5 300-pound mannequins in front of them. And with the Packers, they're replacing Aaron Rodgers with Jordan Love, and their defense can be up and down too. The talk now seems to be the Lions are the favorites to win the NFC North. Do you agree with that assessment, or do you think that this is not their time yet? Wize, I'll start with you.
I think it's that time. Listen, last year they showed they can hang with the big boys. They put a scare in Philadelphia early in the season. First game of the season.
Yeah, they did.
Put a scare in.
Yes, they did.
Then they had a bunch of injuries, but you saw what they were capable of once they started getting healthy. And I don't think what they did at the end of the season was a fluke. I think that's the Detroit Lions team that you're going to see. And now they've added more weapons. They've improved on their defense. They've improved on their offense. They feel that the running back they drafted is better than the one they traded away. And who knows? Who knows? But I feel like Dan Camp coaching is so important, man. My Giants are a prime example. We've had assistant coaches leading the way the last few years until last year. Last year, you actually went and we got a head coach. We were. It's true.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There's no lie. It's true.
Yeah, Joe.
He ain't wrong.
We didn't have,
he ain't wrong.
The last 3 head coaches we have are all to be are assistant coaches, or coordinators, or special head coach, whatever. They're not head coach quality. You bring in Brian Dable, you bring in Joe Shane. So that's what the Lions did. They brought in the front office that know what they're doing. They bring in a head coach that's up and coming, in Dan Campbell, who's a player coach, but who's also he'll hold you accountable.
That's another good quality about him. Yeah,
like he's a players coach. Yeah, he'll go to bat for his players and he'll go to war for his players, but he will hold you accountable.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I love about him. I think that's why they will be the class of that division. Just in the fact that they have the head coach in place, they have Jared Goff playing the best football he's ever played in his NFL career, and now you giving him the weapons to actually really go in there and put some points. And now if that defense can stay healthy, they're going to be scaring some people.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Speaking of assistant coaches.
Go ahead, Coach.
Speaking of assistant coaches, I had a guy during special teams coordinator as my head coach, David Culley. Good man, good guy. But he's
he got the shaft, man.
Yes.
Oh. He got set up.
Yeah, I had a special team.
He got the John Degana treatment.
Yeah, he did, but it all helped us set up D'Amico Ryans for today. So without David Culley or Lovie Smith, we wouldn't have D'Amico Ryans today for they were bridge head coaches. But just to tell you what Mr. Wize was saying about having an assistant coach, yeah, I had a special teams coordinator, a receiver coach, be a head coach. That just showed you that. But I didn't see Brian Daboll yell at coaches on the sideline, get frustrated at coaches. So I definitely agree with him on that. Coaching matters in this league. And again, like I say, me and Cool already went through our predictions on this. We have a different take. Not that we disagree, it's just a different take. But the Lions can win the division, even though I do got Minnesota winning the division, because they pretty much got the same team set up. They pretty much got the same team. Their defense was one of the reasons why they lost, why they wasn't good at all last year. They had a terrible secondary, but they did improve on the cornerback spot with Byron Murphy coming over from the Cardinals as well. They couldn't get pressure on the quarterback at all last year, and I think that's still going to be a problem. They still going to be a problem. But I look at the offense. The offense is still the same. Offense is actually still the same. The only thing you did was replace Adam Thielen, who went to the Panthers, which I think that's a big pickup for the Carolina Panthers. But they also replaced them with a younger Jordan Addison at this point. They also got Alexander Madison after Dalvin Cook left. He was still was 1,500-yard wide receiver, but Alexander Madison fits what they want to do best in a system. He fits what they want to do best, which is pass the ball more, be a little more versatile. So I think it's the same team, but it's just different points that they actually kind of got better at. They would do enough to hold off. I think they would do enough to hold off, but they won't do anything else. But I think the team that is more dangerous. I think the Lions will be more dangerous than the Minnesota Vikings if they were to make the playoffs. I think they will be more of a scare than the Minnesota Vikings. But I do got the Lions making the actual playoffs. I do got them 10-7 and making a wild card spot.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, we differ a little bit. Alexander Madison is the wish Dalvin Cook. And if you replace Dalvin Cook with the wish Dalvin Cook, your production is going to go down. Alexander Madison hasn't proven that he can be a every game back. He's been great in spot duty, right? Wonderful when Dalvin Cook doesn't play for a couple of games. But now he's the guy that everybody's planning for. So I just don't see him having the same effect on the game. Play action is not going to work as well when we're not as concerned about the guy that you're running the ball with, right? Those extra yards that Dalvin Cook gets, that extra gear, I don't see that with Madison. So I think they're going to take a drop a little bit because of that. And I unequivocally believe that Detroit is the best team in this division. And at the end of the year, they will stand atop this division. Green Bay and Minnesota, they're in a dogfight, I believe, for third. Because I think Justin Fields and this new look Chicago Bears team, they're not going to be the best team in the division, but I think they're going to be a little bit better than Minnesota with the white Dak Prescott. Make sure I look in the camera closely, the white Dak Prescott, and also the Green Bay team with Jordan Love, who looks great in spot duty, but now it's all your show, buddy. So we're going to see what you do when everybody's ready for you. And they got a little tape on you because you played some games last year. So you're not an unknown like a Brock Purdy coming in. We know what your tendencies are a little bit there. So I think we're seeing something.
So you bring up Brock Purdy. To me, I don't know if he's going to have the kind of season he had last year because now they have tape on you.
I don't think so. I don't think so either.
He's not going to surprise nobody with what he can do.
Exactly.
So we'll see. But yeah, Jordan, for me, the Packers, it goes on what can Jordan Love do as the main guy now.
And they still didn't fix that line.
Oh no, they haven't done anything. They lose Lazar. They really they're. We're gonna see what they're capable of. See what Jordan Love has. But to me, Minnesota's defense is horrible. Horrible. A defense that gives up more points than you can score. Even though you do finish with a fluke record, it's just a fluke record.
I thought it was fraudulent. Yep, I thought that was fraudulent.
It won't happen again.
They were exposed in the playoffs. But to me, if Detroit can stay healthy, if all the key pieces can stay healthy, they're the class of that division. To me, they have a better defense than everyone else in that division. The Bears, like Cole said, they have 5 mannequins up front protecting Justin Fields. It's not going to work. It's not. It really is not going to work. You add DJ Moore,
and I agree with
you. Yeah, you add DJ Moore. Yeah, he's a good wide receiver, but he's not going to have time to throw the rock. He's going to be running for his life. So we'll see.
That's my main issue. That's my main issue with the Bears.
They're gonna be playing sandlot football. You're gonna run out about 3 yards, and when you see those 5 people running me, you just cut back that way. I'm gonna throw you the ball.
You're gonna see a lot of quick 2-step drop throws coming from Fields.
Prime Russell Wilson.
Yes, definitely. He's gonna be running for his life. All right, so we talked about the Lions. All right, we can talk about the Chiefs now. So we have on offense, their biggest weapon, Travis Kelce, tweaked his knee and hyperextended it in a walkthrough practice, and he's questionable for tonight. And knowing Andy Reid, he'll probably hold him out. And on the defensive end, you got Chris Jones, who says he wants to be a Chief. He just wants to be broken off that money and get his bag and have that Brinks truck be backed up into his house. He, at this moment, is not going to be on the team. So do you think that the absence of Jones and the possible absence of Kelce too will affect the Chiefs short-term or long-term? Coach, I'll start with you.
I say, man, if you always got that damn quarterback in place, you have a chance in any type of ball game. I don't care who you lose, or I don't care who you lose or not have that. If you got that quarterback in place right there, it's going to always be tough to beat you. And that's why I'm not. And like, it's going to be a lot of concern if you're a Chiefs fan or any football NFL fan. Of course, you don't want to lose, Jones, who's probably to me one of the top two defensive tackle in the league. You don't want to lose him. Of course, having Travis Kelce is out is going to hurt a little bit. But it was said last year that Patrick Mahomes was going to hurt without Tyreek Hill. And how did that turn out? He still won a Super Bowl. So that goes to shows you, how actually good he's actually is, how great he's actually is, making his receivers better. I mean, Sky Moore is going to have more of a role than he had last year. You got Kadarius Toney on his full season as well. So again, I think Patrick Mahomes can make it work. I think he can make it work for probably the 2 or 3 games that Travis Kelce is going to be out. But other than that, I say as long as you have that quarterback in play, especially if he's elite like Patrick Mahomes is, hey, you got a chance to win any type of ball game. But yes, the 2 losses will be a big factor. But I believe having Patrick Mahomes, I believe you can win you have an opportunity to win any ball game. He'll keep you in the ball game on how great he is.
I agree with that. Cool.
So Chris Jones, the first thing he did yesterday was he called up Nick Bosa and said, "You my dude. You my guy. When I get broken off, I'm gonna take you out to dinner."
That's what I'm thinking.
And the first thing the Kansas City Chiefs general manager did was he went a tirade worse than Coach Dante earlier. Stuff got thrown against the wall. People got cussed out. All kinds of things happened.
Yeah.
Because Kansas City now is like, oh my goodness. We're going to have to be in the range of that contract. This dude's not going to sign. And they can't win without Chris Jones. Not a Super Bowl. They can win some games, but
thank you.
They're not going to be back in the Super Bowl without Chris Jones because they need that. And then Travis Kelce, I don't think you play Kelce till it's healthy. We learned last year watching Tua Tagovailoa, when a guy is hurt, sit his ass on the
down.
sidelines.
Sit him
If he-
down. Yes.
If he don't want to sit on the sidelines, you take his helmet and you put it up and you lock it up in the training room.
Yeah.
You don't
Not
supposed
getting
to
on the
be playing.
field.
You don't supposed to be on the field.
Yeah.
No, sit him down. I agree with that. And man, ooh, yeah, your point about Chris Jones. Yeah, that actually was my second thought when I read about Bosa's extension. I was like, the Chiefs organization hated this contract signing because they're gonna hate the fact they're gonna have to break off a lot of money to keep Chris Jones. Oh, I know they hated that. Wize.
The Kelce part is gonna hurt, but I would sit him definitely for
CSTV.
whatever it takes for him to heal up. But not having Jones there is really gonna hurt. Like if he goes out to week 8, it's gonna look real bad on that defense to the point where they might score a lot of points, but they're gonna be giving up a lot of points too because you don't have that dominant pressure on that defensive line where other teams have to worry about them. You have no one else on that team that's gonna put fear in you because now you don't have that defensive line. Listen, that's why Nick Bosa got paid.
Mm-hmm.
He alters games.
Yes, he does. He gives offensive coordinators nightmares. Yes.
That's why the Eagles are as good as they are because their defensive linemen bring the pain.
You have to. Yeah.
They bring that pressure. That's how you win. Especially in this pass happy league, you have to disrupt the quarterback. And to me, the Chiefs don't have that next guy who's going to step up and replace Jones. There's no one on that team. Their defense is average without Chris Jones. And I don't think average is going to beat the Lions. And then not having Kelce, you mentioned Tyreek Hill and him not having Tyreek Hill, but they brought in other receivers to change that. Kelce alters the game though. Yeah, those receivers, Tyreek Hill stretches the field, but Kelce is that blanket across the middle that linebackers can't cover him. Safeties can't cover him because he's too big for them. He's that X factor. And he right now, to me, if he keeps going the way he's going, he will be tight end, the number one tight end of all time.
The best tight end ever. Yeah. And you just can't put any old type of corner on him either.
No.
You almost have to commit to your best cornerback to be on Kelce. And if you don't, it's trouble. It's absolute trouble. All right, I'll make this quick. Your pick for tonight between the Lions and the Eagles. Lions and the Chiefs. Cool, let's start with you, sir. Who do you have tonight?
I still got the Chiefs, but in a much closer game.
I agree with that. Coach Dante?
I got the Chiefs by 3 field goal, 23-20.
All right. Wize?
I'm gonna go with the upset.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Lions upset and the Chiefs. It's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be 28-24.
All right. Well, yeah, I would love it too. And I chose the Chiefs on Total Football Talk. That's what I'm going to roll with, although that prediction might look real dicey now. Thank you, Cool. Thank you, Coach Dante. And Debbie, thank you, Wize, for joining me, or should I say joining us. As we now conclude the Cool and Coach Hour, you'll get this every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And, of course, you'll always get Wize every Thursday and Friday, all show long. And we appreciate all three of you gentlemen. And we will close with this. Take care. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they're just simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. That's what we're doing here. We hope you're doing that as well. For Cool, for Coach, for the Snowman as well, and for Wize, I am Cole saying so long. We will see you tomorrow on Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Papi J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying, but this is also an option.
Wize El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen Xers, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Papi J and Wize El Jefe, Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.